that, especially because you're putting yourself plus also others at risk. The ones that have to come help your vehicle dislodge it from some of those flood waters. But if you can't see the roadways, turn around, don't drown, because although we're starting to see some of that road conditions right now, you can start to see in the Mobile County picture there, vehicles, they're still making it through there, but the rain only continues. Expecting this to continue for the next 2 to 3 hours. The system's really staying stationary, just bringing buckets and buckets of rain, really around that inch to even up to 3 inches so far in some spots per rain rate per hour. So that's why we're being so cautious here. We've received reports in southern Mobile County of already 10 inches of rainfall just since this morning. Things continuing to stay active here at Fox 10, but we do have team coverage. Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith is here. I'm here. Nicholas Herboso is on digital, plus also meteorologist Matt Barentine now working to keep us updated. Right, Matt?
Yeah, that's exactly right, Jen. We have a lot of heavy rain still falling here, obviously, across the area. I've got it pulled up on our app. I got the radar running here and on the loop, 1 hour loop here, and it just shows that it's just an absolute fire hose going on right now in southern Mobile County, in and around Grand Bay, down around Bayou La Battery, down around Coden, and over towards Fowl River. Those areas are getting just slammed over and over again with very, very heavy rain. That does stretch across the bay around Point Clear, down around Mullet Point. You're getting that fire hose as well up into Fairhope now too. So a lot of areas are receiving that very heavy rain. The unfortunate part is that it continues to build back to the west. We call this back building. So it looks like it's trying to move, but it's really not. It's just it keeps forming from the west, and more little storms start forming here off to the west, and they begin to move on in. We just got a tornado warning now for Jackson County, Mississippi. So one of these cells right here has just popped a brand new tornado warning. So we're going to get right on that here for you, show you where that is at, because if we got one in Jackson County, that means it's about to cross the state line and eventually over into Mobile County. So we do have a new tornado warning that just went off here. Let's get over to the maps where we can pull that up real quick.
Yeah, let's check it out right now. We are looking over here on the other side of Grand Bay. There is a tornado warning in effect for the Moss Point area, and you got a possible tornado located very close to Pascagoula, and that is tracking east. It's going to be also very close to Interstate 10. The box in red here, that is our tornado warning. We're just getting our map centered up here, so bear with us. This just came down. This is breaking weather news here on Fox 10 News, and you got the Pascagoula Delta region here, and then you've got Moss Point and Pascagoula a little to the south, and so your storm-based warning is going to be located right here near Moss Point, and it should be generally moving to the east. Now, we saw this, we say generally with the Baldwin County situation, this tornado may be slow moving, which is not good, and it also, as we look at it here, may vary a little in its track. We've seen them move a little east, a little southeast today. So here is Moss Point right here, and this is Highway 90, and you're looking at 63 coming down here, and so your possible tornado is going to be located right here over the Pascagoula Delta, and it should be passing across and very close to Moss Point as it moves to the east on the south side of Interstate 10. And Jackson County is certainly an area where a lot of people may be getting us on television here, so we're looking at the possibility of a tornado moving east towards Highway 90. If you're over on the Mobile County side and into Alabama right now, we're closely watching this because there is a warning just to the west for a possible tornado here along Highway 90, and that will be just north of Pascagoula and tracking across and towards the east towards Highway 90 there with a warning in effect in Jackson County right now. So tornado warning there, then flash flood emergency, and we've got a lot of different views in Mobile County here now. You've got Theodore, and then you've got I-10, which is the traffic's terrible right now, and you got Baldwin County. And that flooding right there in Mobile County looks bad, but it's actually worse down around Fowl River. It's not raining nearly as hard in Theodore, and hasn't rained nearly as hard in Theodore that it has further south, Bayou La Battery, Bellingrath Road, those areas. And then we've got our possible tornado now. We're pretty much right on top of Moss Point here in Mississippi here. And I just want to read off some of the areas that may be impacted by this possible tornado located here in Jackson County. You've got it right there near Moss Point and the Escatawpa community. So very close to Interstate 10 around Moss Point, and we're going to see this moving on off to the east right now at about 15 miles an hour. So it's a really slow forward speed with a lot of the cells that we've seen going on in the area today. And this is going to be really close to the Mississippi Welcome Center and areas along the Pascagoula River Delta. You got Highway 63 coming down. This is the MDOT camera located along Interstate 10 right there at the Welcome Center. And look at the rain, look at the water in the ditches, and this is going to be real close to the area where we have our warning, real close to Highway 613 and into Moss Point, and also located along Highway 63 where the Escatawpa River runs underneath Highway 63 and feeds off into the Pascagoula River Delta. And look at the flooding threat. Interstate 10 right now appears to be in decent shape. There's been a lot of work that's been done on our interstates to improve drainage, so we're not seeing Interstate 10 inundated, but we are looking at heavy ponding on the roadways, and this is the MDOT camera there in along the Mississippi-Alabama line right near the Welcome Center. So this is 613, and this is Highway 63, and this is Highway 90, and this is Moss Point proper right now. And so there is your possible tornado there. Very slow forward speed with this. It's not moving quickly at all. And then out ahead of it, you got a ton of heavy rain. And actually, looks like the circulation may be tightening up a bit here with your near stationary or very slow moving tornado there around Moss Point, Mississippi here, just north of Pascagoula, around Highway 613 there in Moss Point. And so that's going to put this very close to, it looks like it's going to be very close to Pelican Landing here.
And also getting reports from our other meteorologist, Nicholas Herboso. He is saying that this is a confirmed tornado from social media reports showing that that is a tornado on the ground. Again, this is going to be for Jackson County, Mississippi, just closer towards the Moss Point area. Potentially confirmed from social media reports showing that there is a tornado on the ground in that area, continuing to track east very slowly towards Mobile County. So that's why it's best to go ahead, be on high alert with this system. We've only continued to see more of these storms fire off here across the Gulf Coast, keeping you updated on this in Jackson County, Mississippi, closer towards Moss Point, north of Pascagoula, tracking east, but supposedly confirmed tornado on the ground in that area. Again, that's going to be social media confirming that, just what we're tracking here. But that's why we always say that that ground truth is so important, if you can safely do it, just because that way we can upgrade those tags from the National Weather Service to include those threats that we're keeping an eye on. We'll continue to monitor this here on Fox 10 as it does approach closer towards Mobile County, but again, right closer towards Moss Point, supposedly confirmed tornado based off of social media reports.
That's going to be close to what we call Hanson Bridge there, and located very close to Moss Point here as it's crossing over near Pelican Landing, and also very close to the Pascagoula River Audubon Center. There are a lot of neighborhoods there on the south side of Beardsley Lake and Robertson Lake and off the Pascagoula River that may be encountering this very slow moving tornado. This is our MDOT camera here, and it looks like that's our MDOT camera on Highway 63 just south of Interstate 10. So this is going to be within about a mile of that possible tornado here. Obviously torrential rain there along Highway 63 as well. So tornado warning, Jackson County, for a possible tornado right in Moss Point. This is 613, and so coming up out of Pascagoula, you've got a possible tornado or a confirmed tornado here in Moss Point, Mississippi, moving to the east towards Highway 63, and that live camera we brought you is going to be about right here, and then your tornado is going to be right here over along 613. South of Interstate 10, you've got the Hanson Bridge, which is right in through here, and that the Escatawpa River comes down underneath Interstate 10 and runs over and hooks back up with the Pascagoula River, and so there's a big bridge there. And then you've got the community of Moss Point, where we've got a lot of development right in here, and it looks like a tornado is just sitting there on top of Moss Point. This is similar to what we saw in in Baldwin County when we had that possible tornado or that confirmed tornado near the mouth of Weeks Bay. Well, this one's sitting right here over Moss Point, and what we're looking at here, very high reflectivity. This is a supercell thunderstorm. We're getting a lot of heavy rain there. This is going to be very close. This is Mississippi 63 near Frederick Street. So this is just coming to the south off that Hanson Bridge area, and it is going to be really close to where we're sitting. You got the Highway 63 boat launch and all this stuff that is here on the north side of Pascagoula, and then to the west of this location is where we have our possible tornado. It looks like we do have some emergency responders there in the right-hand corner of your screen as well, and it's obviously very, very dark, very ominous what we're seeing with our MDOT traffic camera there. So that's Highway 63
This
at
is about where
Frederick
that
Street.
Camera view is. Just looking at it a little closer.
Looks like Jennifer's got it circled there on our map, on our weather map, and so it looks like our camera is going to be about a mile from the rotation area where you see the word Moss and Moss Point. That's the tornado, and then you've got the camera location at Frederick Street and 63. It's just a very, very close to that possible tornado here. We actually just took another power hit at the Fox 10 News studios, so we're just going to keep our picture up cold while we get our lights back on here at the studio. A lot of heavy rain here too, and lightning and a flash flood emergency for Mobile County and for Baldwin County. Just had a report of quarter-size hail in Dixon's Corner in South Mobile County, and quarter-size hail around Grand Bay and Biola Battery, and that was about 10 minutes ago. So looking at a hail report there in southern Mobile County. Got a potential confirmed tornado in Moss Point. It is moving very slowly to the east along Highway 613 south of Interstate 10, and it is tracking towards Highway 63 and headed towards East Moss Point. Right now it's in Moss Point proper, and that's going to put it very close to Bellevue Avenue, Oak Avenue, areas along Beardsley Lake and Robertson Lake and the Escatawpa River, the Hanson Bridge, and drifting towards Highway 63. This is going to be Highway 63 near Interstate 10, so it's going to be a little north of the circulation. It was definitely a darker situation as far as the clouds and the heavy rain, or what was going on a little further to the south on 63. But either way, this is very close to that tornado warning that's located in Moss Point, Mississippi this afternoon here in Jackson County. And so we remain under a tornado warning for parts of Jackson County, Mississippi, and that's going to stay in effect for quite a while this afternoon for another slow-moving possible tornado going on there in southern Mississippi this evening. And you know, the rain just keeps coming. I mean, we can't shake it. We're getting the heavy rain, the torrential rain. It was confirmed tornado at 2:52, so 6 minutes ago this tornado was confirmed over Moss Point. It was going east at 25 according to the report from the National Weather Service out of New Orleans. We've not seen a lot of motion there on our radar, but possibly going east at about 25 miles an hour, and this tornado will be over southeast Jackson County. It could include Interstate 10 between mile markers 65 and 76. It looks like that circulation is going to be a little bit on the south side of Interstate 10 also. And it may be going a little more southeast too. That's what we saw with the tornado that was located over southern Baldwin County. It was going a little bit more southeast. These are a little hard to track because some of these are anticyclonic tornadoes, so they kind of behave a little differently than what we're accustomed to seeing. But anyway, looking at Moss Point right now, possible tornado there. We do have debris signature on radar with that tornado, so it's going to be between 613 here and Highway 63, and we've got that debris possible right here just north of Highway 90. near Moss Point, and you've got Pascagoula here, you've got Moss Point here. This is Highway 63 and Highway 90. So this is going to continue tracking towards the east. It's not going to be too far away from the Lakeview seafood restaurant, which is up here. You've got a Dollar General. You get further down
and right
here.
Right there is about the Walmart Supercenter and the Lowe's that's right on Denny Avenue.
Right.
You're really getting close to the Beals outlet. So in case you just know, if I'm listing off things that you know, you need to go ahead and get in your safe space in that area. Again, that's mainly intercepting Denny Avenue there, closer towards the Walmart and the Lowe's.
Yeah, there's a lot of development right in here. There's a number of restaurants right here located here where you have the Lowe's and the Walmart here on Highway 90. And there it is, the debris still showing up with the latest update there. And this is really not good because we're looking at debris showing up over Moss Point right now, and this is a highly populated portion of Moss Point. What Jennifer did this there, she switched the radar off with the debris tracker and just put it on the aerial photo. You can see nothing but neighborhoods and streets right in through here. So a highly populated area, and we do have debris going on aloft, and so that's likely going to be, and this is real close to where that tornado is located now, Jennifer. This is going to be Highway 90 at 63. So this is within, you know, possibly even a quarter mile or less of that tornado. And you can see the camera is shaking quite a bit here too. You see the cars braking heavily. This is Highway 90 just east of 63. So this is going to be a little bit east of Walmart and the Lowe's.
Right there is about where that camera is located. I was circling on there. You can't quite see that because the live camera's up there. But yeah, so if you know anyone that lives in Moss Point, please call them, please text them. Again, this is going to be a confirmed tornado in Jackson County, Mississippi, just closer towards the Moss Point community. We did just take another lightning strike here at the studio, so could potentially lose more power here. But again, in case you know anyone that lives closer towards the Moss Point community, this is a large and dangerous tornado on the ground. I'm sure a lot of these drivers in that area are unaware of the current threat that they are driving into. So please call them, give them a heads up. I'm really starting to see some of that debris showing on our debris tracker at this time. Let someone just know that you're thinking about them. This is going to be closer towards, again, Denny, US 63, and also Highway 90. So it's a very populated area, a lot of stores in that area. It's going to be closer towards the Lowe's, also the Walmart. The Jackson County Fairgrounds is in that area. So in case you know anyone, especially East Pascagoula, also going to be included in this, please just call someone, give them a heads up, making sure that they're staying weather aware, keeping updated with the forecast, as this is going to be a confirmed tornado on the ground, as we can really start to see some of that debris being lofted into the air, and especially more of a stationary threat at this time. Regardless, please stay off the roadways. We do have those flash flood emergencies currently in place locally closer towards home. In Mobile, Baldwin Counties, the southern portions there, but you can also start to see some of those emergency vehicles there driving in from this live view camera. This is going to be right near that intersection where we're tracking this confirmed tornado on the ground in Jackson County, Mississippi.
Yeah, I would be surprised to see, if this tornado is still on the ground, go right over the camera here. This is right at 63 and Highway 90, and looking at the debris signature, and based on a southeasterly track of that debris signature, which was a little stronger when it was over Moss Point, this is the debris signature that we're following. Our camera is going to be located, that we're showing, the MDOT camera is located about right here. And so this possible tornado or confirmed tornado went right across Moss Point, right over these neighborhoods, and it looks like it's going right for that camera location. It's really dark there right now. We can see the camera is shaking quite a bit. It looks like there are some cars out there traveling. We just had a little glitch in the camera report there. As far as the velocity product and the debris signature is not quite as strong as it was a couple of frames ago, but this is still very alarming here. This is a tornado warning, and looks like it's going right for that location. And again, the report out of National Weather Service New Orleans was an easterly track at 25. Well, this thing's going southeast at about 10 right now. That's what's going on with it right now. And you can see that debris signature is now pretty much right on top of the camera. And so you know, from what we're seeing from the camera here, we don't actually have a confirmed tornado there, but this is just one view in one direction. And you know, you could pan the camera just a little bit and it may end up being a tornado. Look at the camera shaking right now. I mean, this camera is shaking like crazy here on Highway 90 at just east of 63. And so it really depends on just how far down 90 this is. If this is a little to the east of 63, then the circulation is just getting there. And look how horrible the visibility is right now. You can see cars with flashers on, and the camera is shaking violently here. We may have a tornado just about going over that MDOT camera right now. And if you're watching from around the area, this is what we're tracking. There's a tornado warning for Moss Point, confirmed tornado, Highway 63 and Highway 90 area. This is going to be just east on Highway 90 of the Walmart and the Lowe's, just past the Super 8 hotel, and getting real close to a restaurant called the Heritage House, which is located right there on Highway 90. This camera is going to be really close. It's in the Creole community, which is what we call East Moss Point. So this is going to be close to Weaver Supply Company, Frederick Street, Industrial Road, and we've got it's going to be right here in Moss Point here, and you can see the visibility remains awful on this shot here, and this rotation area going pretty much right over the camera. Located, looks like Temple Street and Walnut Street, Old Airport Road, Old Mobile Avenue, the Enterprise Gas Plant. These are all places that are located along Highway 63 at Highway 90. And so we are in a tornado warning there. You can see the lightning flashes there. Those could be power flashes also. What we're looking at is a confirmed tornado here in Moss Point. We also have a flash flood emergency in Mobile County. If you're joining us from Mobile County, this is extremely serious. We have an amazing amount of rainfall that has occurred in the south part of the county. We've seen over 10 inches of rain around Fowl River, Bellingrath Road, and areas down towards Bila Battery and Grand Bay. And then on the Mississippi side, very heavy rain has just started, and we're also looking at a possible tornado. Now, the rotation area on radar not quite as strong and not quite as easy to actually pick out here in East Moss Point, but we do have some rotation here, and so that tornado warning remains in effect. Jennifer's rocking it back here, and so that's 240 right there, tornado on the ground, and then up to the current time, your rotation area is going to be located about here, a little bit more of an east or southeast motion to this possible tornado, and that's going to put this thing pretty close to the Chevron refinery, which is located right here. So Chevron is right there. You've got Bangs Lake, and then this is Bayou Cumbest, and Bayou Cumbest leads out into Pointe-aux-Chenes Bay and also Mississippi Sound, and so we've got a possible tornado here, right here along and around Bayou Cumbest and the north side of the Chevron refinery and Bayou Casat. Bayou Casat is right about there. This is the Wrigley's and Pointe-aux-Chenes Bay, and then we're getting up here just south of Highway 90. We've got Bayou Cumbest Road. There's a boat launch down here, and there are a number of homes here down on the southeast side of Moss Point, and it looks like if this continues easterly or southeasterly, it's going to end up over the Grand Bay Reserve. So we've got a possible tornado on the ground here in Moss Point. And now that warned area is starting to work off to the southeast here, and the further south and east it goes, the less populated of an area. It just went right over Moss Point, a highly populated area. But once it clears Bayou Cumbest and it gets down here towards the end of Bayou Heron and out towards Grand Bay, the population is not quite as high, but there are a number of fish camps and places down below Franklin Creek Road here, close to the Grand Bay Preserve, and this circulation may be tightening up a little bit right now, Jennifer, just south and over Bayou Cumbest here, and working towards the Mississippi-Alabama line. That's that black line right there, and so the possible tornado very close to the Bayou Cumbest area. There is an alligator tour place that's here on Highway 90 a little further up, and then down down here you've got Bayou Compass. So again, looks like a tornado there that may have cycled, and it may be working its way back down.
And I did want to go ahead and update too. This is going to be a report from our Nia Spraggs here at Fox 10 that she did receive a report that there could have been 2 casino boats that broke loose at the Bayou La Battery City docks that supposedly could have also impacted one of the bait shops located out there. So do be cautious regardless of where you are. Again, this severe weather continues all across the Gulf Coast. Really beginning to see some of those reports. Also seeing reports in Irvington and Theodore, plus also areas closer towards DIP of water that's beginning to enter into some of the homes in that area. Do be cautious. Mobile Traffic had a good report there of folks in southern Mobile Baldwin counties that if you do have a septic tank system, you may not be able to flush your toilet this time. So do keep that in mind again too. I mean, there's a lot that you have to keep in mind with some of the flooding that we're seeing out there. So do be cautious of yourself, of your homes. Please stay off the roadways. There is a lot to consider with this rainfall that we're seeing that only continues in such high rainfall amounts. We have been keeping you covered all morning long. We broke into coverage this morning for some tornado warnings. We've been on since air about 12:30 so far. So this only continues. We're getting closer towards 3 hours of continuous coverage here on Fox 10. We've seen the tornado threats continue. We've seen the flooding threats continue. Reports of hail, reports of wind damage, power outages out there. We are continuing our live stream here on Fox 10. So you can find that on fox10tv.com. You can find that on our Facebook pages. Right now, still tracking this tornado warning that's going to be in southern Jackson County. Just moved through the Moss Point area, continuing just on that southeasterly track there. Also getting reports in Irvington of some flash flooding near US 90 and Alabama 16 and McDonald Road. It is completely closed in both directions due to flash flooding. So again, that's going to be on US 90 near Alabama 16 and McDonald Road. That road is completely closed on US 90 in both directions due to that flash flooding. That's why we keep saying, please stay off the roadways. Be cautious out there. This is nothing to mess around with, especially with this rain, this thunderstorm still continuing. You can really start to see all of that lightning out there. We continue to get struck by it here at Fox 10. We have our big tower up in the air, if you've ever seen that. So we do continue to lose power at times, but still keeping you guys updated. Here's the latest look at the radar. Continuing on that loop here, this is going to be about for the past 3 hours. I'm going to go ahead and update that to about the past hour than we've been seeing, so that rain, it only continues. This is going to be staying stationary. Although the rain is moving, the cell that's dropping that is really continuing to stay stationary. So constant buckets falling, that red, that orange coloration. We've been seeing a lot of it so far. Still continuing to see more of that in southern Mobile County, southern Baldwin County, just closer towards the Weeks Bay area, Grand Bay, Bayou La Battery, Irvington, Coden. Before 8 a.m. we were talking about those rain showers and thunderstorms. You got to see a short break of that just closer towards 11 before all of that ramped back up. So again, a lot to track here on Fox 10. We're working hard to keep you guys updated with some of this flooding. We've been seeing cars that had been rescued. Please stay off the roads. That way no one has to do that either. Let them stay home to where they don't have to go out and perform some of those water rescues. Turn around, don't drown. That's really going to be the biggest thing at this point. We're continuing with this coverage. We'll continue to monitor social media in case you do have any reports out there that you may be seeing. The good news is that it looks like that circulation closer towards southern Jackson County has weakened at this time. So keep a close eye on that tornado warning, but mainly seems to be moving to the southeast. But it was a confirmed tornado earlier just due to that debris signature that we were picking up. But it is windy and it is rainy out there, Jason.
We got a lot of people who are really concerned about the flooding situation that they're seeing here in the lower part of Mobile County, and we're concerned for you down on the lower end of Grand Bay and down around Bayou La Battery and also Fowl River. Also, just to update you on the tornado warning that is ongoing in Jackson County, Mississippi. That possible tornado is going to be located very close to the Bayou Compass area, and that is moving to the southeast. So it's going to be right in here around Chevron Refinery and dropping to the southeast. This was a confirmed tornado over East Moss Point within the last 15 minutes. In the lower part of the county here, down around the southern end of Grand Bay, down Henderson Camp Road, extremely heavy rain, tons of heavy rain here along 188. It is a rain out in the Bayou La Battery area today, as well as the Coden area and down near Alabama Port. It looks like the rain rate has reduced a little up towards Fowl River, which is at least somewhat of an improvement, but that's after about 10 to 12 inches of rain has fallen here. I want to check the velocity scan on our tornado warning right now over along the Mississippi-Alabama line just to check up on that situation there. And so our rotation area not moving super quickly here. We watched this thing move from about here to here, and Chevron Refinery is there, and then this is going to be the Bayou Cumbus Road area. This has been a very slow moving warned area. And it looks like this is still in a location where there are a lot of houses. If it moves a little more to the southeast, once it gets out and through here, this is all the Grand Bay Reserve property. And so there's a lower population density in this area, if not just marshland. But this was over a really highly populated area when that tornado moved over Moss Point earlier. It is now south of Highway 90. So if you know anybody who's in Pascagoula and Moss Point, it looks like this thing is now to the south and east of Moss Point. It's over Bayou Cumbus, and it could be very close to Chevron, at least over the roadway between Highway 90 and the Chevron plant. So this is going to be located right there between 90 and I think that Chevron Drive is what that's called right there. Our streets don't pop up over here in Jackson County, but they're there. I promise you. You've got a number of roadways over here, and then you've got our possible tornado moving over southeastern Jackson County. Still isn't moving very quickly here. This thing, the forward speed on it, again, about 10, maybe 10 miles an hour, and it has gone again more southeasterly than easterly in this location here. And looking at it, this is going to be really close to the Grand Bay Preserve. Looks like areas, I'm going to name off some of the roadways where we have this possible tornado going. You've got Grand Bature Road, which is on the east side of Bayou Cumbus, and then you've got Bayou Cumbus Road on the west side of Bayou Cumbus and the associated boat ramp there. Bayou Cumbus Road, Orange Grove Road, so our possible tornado is going to be over Orange Grove, and it's headed towards it's going to be really a close call for Chevron, but it may be a little bit north of Chevron. That's going to be Industrial, the road that leads you down to Bayou Casat. And so this is going to be a real close call for that area. Jennifer, we're going to send it over to meteorologist Matt Barentine right now. Matt has an update.
Yeah, I mean, keeping an eye on the traffic situation. We do have a wreck at mile marker 16 on I-10. That is between the Theodore Dawes exit and the Range Line exit. And you can see that here. We have some cars off the side of the interstate. Looks like they slid off the side of the interstate, at least one or two vehicles there. So we got, once again, that is, we pull that back up. It only allows you to keep it up for a few seconds, but then I can pull it right back up. There it is. The good news here is that the traffic is moving here through that area, so folks are able to get by. But once again, this is at mile marker 16 where they have seen a wreck. We're also been seeing a lot of backups here on the bay. Well, let me see if I can get you to one of the bayway cameras. It is pretty well packed and stacked on both sides of the bayway, so we're seeing issues there. And look how slow the traffic is moving, both eastbound and westbound. So you got somebody that's working on the other side of the bay that need to be coming home. They're going to run into this, even though the rain isn't bad, the weather isn't bad there. Obviously, the traffic is going very, very slow, both eastbound and westbound there across the bay. So we're seeing a lot of travel issues, as you would imagine, with this kind of flooding, this kind of rain here across the area. I'll pull up another one of these cameras here, kind of maybe about midway or so, and you'll see that basically even in the middle here, look at this. This is the middle part of now the bayway. You can see it's very, very slow. You can see the buildings back in the background. So this is all the way backed up on both sides of the bay. So an absolute traffic nightmare that folks are going to be dealing with here across the area trying to get home from work. This is looking westbound towards the eastern shore. It is just backed all the way up. You can see folks trying to get off the bayway and trying to get down on the causeway. So once again, just an absolute mess out there on many of our roads right now. In southern Mobile County, there are a lot of roads that are closed. There is water over where Range Line and Hamilton intersect. There is water over that, deep water over that intersection, and there's also deep water over parts of Highway 90 in and around the Theodore area. So a lot of treacherous travel in the southern part of Mobile County. where some of the roads are actually impassable at the moment with all this heavy rain. You can see some of our different camera shots that are up right now, particularly that one in the top right corner of your screen. You can see the obviously flooded out there. Folks having to drive very, very slow. So please be careful. That is just south of Theodore. Okay, so once again, that's kind of in that area I was talking about, Hamilton Road, Range Line. I know there's water completely over that intersection, as well as some parts of the DIP going down towards Hamilton as well. So there's multiple roads that are impassable or close to impassable down in the southern part of Mobile County. And when people run into trouble during flooding, this is where they run into it, is trying to drive through it when you shouldn't try to drive through it. So please be careful. And the old saying is turn around, don't drown. That saying is there for a reason. Once again, there's the traffic tracker as well. You can see how backed up everything is there on the traffic tracker. It goes all the way back on both the eastbound and westbound side are both packed and stacked. No getting across the bay in an easy way right now. Traffic is moving along in the causeway. That's good news. There was a lot of debris in the road from overwash earlier, but traffic is moving along on the causeway right now. So if you do have to go back and forth from the eastern shore, I would suggest you take the causeway here. At the moment, it's the better way to go. The bayway, once again, is an absolute mess. And you continue to see the camera shots there. We're looking good in and around the northern part of the county, but once again, the southern part of the county seeing major issues, and Jennifer's pulling it up right now. There are those barricades showing up, and purple means road closed. So we've got multiple road closures. I think that's one's there. There's the 90 at McDonald Road. So Highway 90 at McDonald Road. So if you're getting off at exit 10 on I-10, that is the McDonald Road exit, and you can see McDonald Road at Highway 90 is closed due to flooding. So that is one issue. I think, Jennifer, we saw another one. I think that's the Hamilton Boulevard one, isn't it? Range Line, and Range Line there. Yep. So at Laurendine. And that's completely flooded over as well, so you can't take Range Line past that point. And we're also seeing a lot of slowdowns down there around going farther down DIP. So the DIP is a complete mess right now. And like I said, parts of Range Line impassable, parts of Highway 90 impassable. And even where places where it's not impassable, we are seeing a lot of issues with just simply slow. Look, there's another one there. That's Highway 98. Where it hits Scenic 98 and it makes that big turn at Barnwell from when you're coming south to Fairhope, seeing more flooding there as well with road closures too. So it looks like both ways closed. So serious driving issues here across the both counties as we deal with this very heavy rain event. Once again, we've seen upwards of 10 inches of rain in spots, and several inches more of rain is expected to fall here over the next few hours. And we've been seeing what we call these showers and storms backfilling. They just keep growing on the backside, training through the same spots over and over and over again. And whenever you deal with a flooding situation like this, it's a long, slow event. And let's see, Jennifer's putting up another barricade there. Where is that at? That's Highway 98 and the Beach Express?
Foley Beach Express, yes.
Okay, so
completely closed.
Yep, 98 Beach Express. You probably know that intersection there. There's several gas stations there at that intersection. Highway 98 at the Foley Beach Express. If you usually take that to head to Alberta, that is closed right now. So we got multiple issues out there on the highways right now. We're going to have to keep tracking these for you as we go through the afternoon. Once again, that camera shot in the top right, that is in Theodore, or just south of Theodore. Guys, that bottom right camera shot we got kind of on the move. Do we know we're moving around there? We're getting some pretty... Okay, well, we're going to check in with them in a moment because obviously they're running into some more significant flooding as well down there in that bottom shot there as well. But look at all the barricades showing up on the traffic tracker, multiple road closures. Basically anywhere south of I-10 in Mobile County is pretty much a no-go at this point. If you don't have to be down there, don't go down there, okay? You need to let the stuff drain off. It will drain off, but it will take some time. And as long as the rain is falling, it's going to take longer. And we still do have very heavy rain falling in parts of the southern part of the county from Bayou La Batterie over to Dauphin Island and also going across the bay into Gulf Shores as well. It is a little spottier when you go north of that, up around Dawes and West Mobile, but there are still some showers there. And another thing you'll notice is back around Pascagoula, look how heavy that rain is. Well, that rain is going to keep pushing on into the Grand Bay, Bayou La Batre area too. So that's the unfortunate part when we're dealing with something like this, is that it just keeps on going, and that will stack more rain on top of what we've already seen. So I don't know if we can get up that those rainfall totals. Now we're going to go and start checking what we've seen here in the last few hours in southern Mobile County, some of these Doppler estimates. Probably going to start seeing double-digit estimates here fairly soon in some of these areas. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That is anywhere south of I-10 has seen massive amounts of rainfall. There it is, double digits, 10.8 inches estimated there by the Doppler radar in and around Bellingrath Gardens. So some very, very heavy rain there. Okay, and that's the bottom right shot that you're seeing is from Grand Bay. So we got shots from near Theodore, the other shots from near Grand Bay. Okay, so there we go. So we got a different shot. We're canvassing Mobile County right now for you. And there's Brendan down in, he's in Grand Bay. I think we're going to be able to talk to Brendan here in just a moment. So we'll go ahead and see if we can't catch up with Brendan, because he's been driving around down there for a while. Brendan, can you hear me and give us an update?
Yeah, Matt, it's just as you'd expecting, a lot of water on the roads. We've been in the Grand Bay area, South Mobile County. We did see a portion of Highway 90 was impassable. There was a state trooper out there that was redirecting traffic around, so we went around that. But just a lot of water on the road, a lot of flooding on the sides. And let me punch up the windshield wiper there. So this isn't really too bad right here, but you can just see a lot of houses, a lot of parking lots just have a lot of water over them.
Yeah, so right now in Grand Bay, there is a slight lull, but some heavier rain is about to move in from the west. So we're going to keep Brendan on down there, going around, checking out some of the flooded spots, letting you know which of the roads are impassable. Once again, we do have a whole list of them here at this point. Range line at Laurending, impassable. Highway 90 at McDonald Road, impassable. Some others we had across the bay, around Highway 98 where it makes the big turn, and Barnwell, impassable. So multiple issues. Those are all the big intersections. There's probably multiple small roads that are going to be impassable here at the moment too. There's the radar again. You can see how heavy the rain is all through the southern part of the county, all the way down to Dauphin Island. So heavy rain down the causeway to Dauphin Island as well. Over to Fort Morgan, just a small aside here. The ferry is not running. That's probably a no-duh kind of thing, but they did announce that about an hour ago. The ferry is not running from Dauphin Island to Fort Morgan. Heavy rain continues on down there. Jennifer has pulled up the velocity map. We do have some circulation there, but we don't have a warning as far as a tornado warning on that yet. We are under severe thunderstorm warnings and marine warnings down that way. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. That's basically working its way right up the beach, up towards Gulf Shores. So hopefully you're not out on the beach anyway with all this thunder and lightning, but you don't want to be out there with that sliding on through. They're going to have some very gusty winds of that circulation that is working its way up Fort Morgan Peninsula. We don't have a tornado warning on that as of yet. It's just something we're pointing out for you, that we're seeing some very gusty winds on the leading edge of one of those thunderstorms. And we're looking back over towards the Port of Pines area. There is our Point of Pines area, I'm sorry. Jason will correct me on that. Down there in the southwestern part of Mobile County, just south of Grand Bay. We also seeing a little punch there in the velocity, some strong gusty winds there, possibly some circulation too. So there's multiple areas for us to keep track of. I mean, this is, Jennifer, if you can widen this thing back out. All right. Thank you, Jason, announcing here from our, that happens when you have our once again, our app, which you can always download. Jason will let you know when we do have warnings that do pop up. So that was there. So velocity, we keep showing this. The rain, very heavy, and this rain is going to continue. That heavy rain continues back into Mississippi. So unfortunately, it's just going to keep training through the same spots in southern Mobile County and in southern Baldwin County over and over again. Once again, Jennifer is sort of highlighting some of the some of the velocity product there just to show you that we are getting some very gusty winds and some possible circulation right there in and around the Fort Morgan Peninsula. So that's definitely something we want to keep a close eye on, guys. Looks like we got a third camera up there too, so we're really canvassing the area. The other one's in Baldwin County that we've just pulled up, so we're keeping we'll get you that location here in just a moment.
Updating you on a couple of these active warnings right now. We've had a tornado warning in effect for Jackson County, Mississippi. And if you're in Grand Bay or by La Battery and you saw that report, you're probably concerned, hey, is this tornado going to come across out of Mississippi and get me? Well, right now, it looks like what happened was that tornado, which was confirmed on the ground in Moss Point, went across Highway 90, went across Bayou Compass just north of Chevron, and now it is off of Point of Pines and out near the Grand Bouture Bar. So it's out over Grand Bay and Mississippi Sound. Now, what we've got to watch out for is, does this tighten back up and impact Dauphin Island down the road? Right now, it's over the water, it's not over the land, and so we're not under a tornado warning for Mobile County right now. On the Baldwin County side, we have very strong rotation and what is most likely a strong water spout here off of Fort Morgan, but that too should be moving east or east-southeast, and that would keep this over the Gulf of Mexico. So at this point, we don't have a tornado warning for Mobile County or Baldwin County. What we have is a flash flood emergency and a severe thunderstorm warning for both of those locations. And the tornado warning that was in effect for Jackson County, Mississippi, expired at 3:30 p.m. and we'll see if anything new is reissued there. But what we see with both rotation areas is they're out over the water right now. So if you're at Fort Morgan, you may be looking at a really strong water spout just offshore. If you can see it, I may not be able to because it's very, very heavy rainfall going on there. And looking back here, this is real weak rotation here, what's left of that Moss Point tornado that was around earlier. In Pascagoula and over towards Ocean Springs, a little further to the west, there is a bit of rotation showing up there, so we'll have to watch out for that too. That's going to be located right here, right on the right in Ocean Springs, pulling away from Ocean Springs in the back bay of Biloxi there. But that too looks like it's going out over Mississippi Sound. Heavy rainfall has been the main problem with all of this. We have had some reports of damage, and we have had tornadic storms. That actually is showing a hook signature, Jennifer, with that rotation area just on the west side of Pascagoula right there. And then that's where we actually have that rotation. That's going to be really close to Ocean Springs, but it looks like that's headed towards the east end of Horn Island and out over Petty Boy Island. So heavy rainfall continues, and we have a flash flood emergency, and we're looking at our cameras here just to show you what we've got. The top camera is Theodore, and then this second camera is down in Grand Bay, and then the bottom camera is the Barnwell area in Baldwin County. So aerial is in Baldwin County, and we've got Brendan Kirby, I know, over in Mobile County around Grand Bay, and then we've got another one there in Theodore. And these are locations where the rainfall rates have actually improved, but the flooding is still ongoing, which is a common thing in a flash flood emergency. And for more on what's happening with all the road closures down in Baldwin County, let's get an update with Ariel Mallory. Ariel?
Yeah, Jason, we're actually back at that gas station that we were at earlier here in Barnwell, where we saw that car stalled out, where people were crossing the intersection. I'm going to flip my camera so you all can see what we're looking at right now. This intersection right here, this is where 98 and 98 cross. It is still very heavily flooded. I'm going to zoom my camera in just so you all can get an idea of just how deep that water is. And again, as we've been saying and mentioning all day, it is really heavily flooded. So if you can't see over the roadway and that water is too deep, don't try to drive through it. Earlier we saw a car that was stalled out here. They had to come and get towed out, and we did actually see troopers blocking off the roadway, but they've since moved. So again, traffic is flowing here. We're seeing a lot of cars going back and forth. Again, if you cannot see across the roadway, you do need to try and go around it now. Hello?
Hello, this is Brenton McVeigh.
Oh, I can't talk right now. I need to call you back.
Well, we're going to go ahead and continue on this coverage here again, keeping a close eye on Jackson County, Mississippi, and also some of the rotation that we're monitoring at this time. So really just keeping you updated here on Fox 10 of everything that we have going on. Again, keeping an eye on multiple areas of rotation, but in case you know of anyone in the Moss Point community, we are starting to get some pictures online on social media of a lot of the damage in that area from that confirmed tornado earlier. Please just go ahead, check on your friends, check on family that you may have in the Moss Point community. Again, some extensive damage, seeing a lot of that to homes with roofs that are torn off at this time, a lot of power lines that are down, a lot of damage in that community. And so please just go ahead, have them in your prayers, but also check in on family, friends, anyone that you know in the Moss Point community, because we are really starting to see some of that potential damage, but also even monitoring additional slight rotation that's just offshore there south of that Gulf Park Estates, just traveling to the east just along 90 there. As for warnings here locally closer towards home, we were monitoring some of that rotation just south of Fort Morgan, still looking pretty strong, but again, that's going to be offshore. Probably not a lot of folks offshore at this point, mainly just monitoring all of that flash flooding reports. Going ahead, looking through some of those just closer towards Hollinger's Island. The road closed on Alabama 193 near Alabama 163 due to flash flooding. Also, a lot of vehicles stalled out in flooded roadways at US 90 and McDonald Road in Irvington community. Multiple roads being reported as impassable for dozens of spots south of line of 3 Notch Road due to flash flooding just in Mobile County. So please be careful, get off the roadways if you don't have to be out there at this time. We're working hard to keep you updated. That's why our storm trackers are on the roadways, just because we need something called ground truth. That way we keep you guys updated with everything that we're seeing out there. Again, there's all 3 of those camera views too in Mobile County, Baldwin County, storm trackers all over. If you don't have to head out, please don't do it. Remember, turn around, don't drown. Just get home carefully. If you are out there, if you know of anyone that's heading out, don't go out. You don't need to be running any errands at this point. Also seeing that poor pup out there on that top camera view in Mobile County. Please bring your pets inside at this time. Make sure that they are safely indoors. There is no reason that they should be outdoors during any of this rain that we are continuing to see, easily in the double digits for some of that rainfall, precipitation, and measurements that we've been seeing. Reports of over 10 inches in southern Mobile and Baldwin counties, especially if you live near any of those bodies of water. Again, let's go ahead and take this full at this time, just in case anything does happen on that camera view there. Please be careful in case you are heading out anytime soon. Again, those rainfall rates, nothing to mess around with. Luckily, we are starting to see some relief in some portions, so that is going to be good. In case you are on the Mobile side, Loxley, Robertsdale, Summerdale area looking a lot better. Foley, Alberta, you've mainly turned to some of that light rain. Magnolia Springs also looking better. But here's going to be another live view there in Mississippi. Again, just keeping you updated in Jackson County, Mississippi, from where we've been seeing a lot of that heavy rain, some of that thunder, plus also more of that rotation. Still looking like a bit of a hook there, but then this is going to be really on the western side of Pascagoula and Gaucher. So just south of 90, they're really just traveling right along the water, just offshore, barely trying to make its way onshore, but really low visibility, ponding water out there in the roadways. You can see just some of those vehicles trying to make it out there. Please, please, please get off the roadways at this time. No one needs to be out there traveling in case you are heading out anytime soon. Now, also starting to see some reports of additional power outages just closer towards southern Mobile, Baldwin counties. Fort Morgan, I'm hearing, is doing a lot better at this time, so that's going to be the good news, especially with that area of rotation and those gusty winds beginning to push offshore. So really active across the Gulf Coast, tracking more of this thunder, this lightning. Things are loud. Looking closer towards central Mobile County, mainly just starting to see some of that rain impacting portions of downtown, closer towards South Alabama, Mobile Regional. Not as active with that thunder and lightning, but really South DIP, Rangeline, Theodore, Irvington, Hollinger's Island. You're starting to see some of that. Irvington, the good news, you're mainly starting to turn to some of that light rain. but it's only going to be a brief break with seeing some of that. Bayou La Batre, Grand Bay, Coden, Alabama Port, Dauphin Island especially, still seeing a lot of that heavy rain beginning to push in at this time. So we're going to work hard to keep you guys updated. Again, team coverage here on Fox 10. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Lambert, Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith, meteorologist Matt Barentine, all in studio, plus also our meteorologist Nicholas Herboso, keeping you guys updated on digital in case you are following us on our Facebook live stream. We do have all of that coverage coming to you as well. Jason.
All right, the heavy rainfall, we've got a little gap in it right now over Fowl River. Of course, we're under a flash flood emergency here. There is more heavy rain that is filling back in from Theodore and trying to move back into this area. So it's just a temporary reprieve. In Baldwin County, also the colors a little more light to moderate here, doing better, but very, very heavy rainfall now down around Fort Morgan. And we've got a streak of heavy rain starting to show back up here just north of Theodore and up towards Mobile, and that is tracking towards the south and east. It may fill back in around Irvington, St. Elmo, the Bellingrath Road area, Paget Switch Road, Laurendine Road, Fowl River Road, these areas here that have been hit with about 12 plus inches of rainfall. You're getting light rain right now, but you're about to see some more heavy rain possibly move in. Redevelopment is ongoing with the off the charts amount of instability that we have going on in the atmosphere right now, and this stationary front, and you get these little impulses coming along, and it's the perfect setup for what we call training cells. These are storms that are like a train. They just car after car keeps going by over the same spot, and so that creates the potential for flash flooding. This is really the area in Mobile County where it's been very intense too, down around Fowl River here, Fowl River Road, Pioneer Road, Bellingrath Road, Paget Switch, Irvington Bayou La Batre Highway, Half Mile Road, 2 Mile Road. Those are all spots where we have the possibility of flooding ongoing right now. It's a very likely scenario. We've also remained under a severe thunderstorm warning also for this area for quite a while this afternoon. The rain is at its heaviest down in the Bayou La Batre area where we're getting heavy downpours now. There's Coden and Bayou La Batre right there. And we got another batch of real heavy rain on the south end of Henderson Camp. And that looks like generally an east-southeast motion. So that's going to bring it over a little river and back into Bayou La Batre. We're also under a severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Jackson County, Mississippi here, where we had a tornado warning with damage in Moss Point. So there are a lot of boxes up on our screen right now. You can see the severe thunderstorm warning for Jackson County, Mississippi. This was a tornado situation, now a severe thunderstorm situation. Wind gusts over 50 miles per hour, over 60 miles per hour, and the possibility of some small to medium-sized hail in Jackson County. And then the rain bands, and this is that second band I was talking about starting to form up in Theodore. So we've got real heavy rain up along Highway 90 and I-10, and that is really anywhere from the I-10, I-65 split all the way back to McDonald Road, and tracking from Dawes in a line. You've got 3 Notch and Schillinger, you've got Theodore, you've got Highway 90 right here, and this rain is about to pick up, or is picking back up, and that includes the Dog River area. And we got to watch this band because it may shift back down towards the south part of the county. There's nothing to really bust this thing up and get it out of here. It's just sitting draped along the stationary front, and so we expect the heavy rain to continue. And it looks like the Grand Bay area also some real heavy rain here showing up as well. And you can see got our crews out there, our storm tracker crews throughout Mobile County and in Baldwin County. The rain's a little lighter in Baldwin County. We're seeing a lightening of the skies there, but it is heavier right now as you get into Mobile County. You see over towards Daphne here and along the eastern shore, not nearly as heavy as what's continuing to happen in Mobile County. And now Hollinger's Island is an area where we're getting heavy rain. We had some reports of some road closures here. You've got the Dog River Bridge right there, and you've got DIP that links back up with Rangeline Road and down towards the Theodore Canal. You've got Hollinger's Island up here on the southern end of DIP, and then real heavy rain right now I-10 and Rangeline Road at Tillman's Corner, and Highway 90 at I-10 in Theodore. So real heavy rain there, the Nevius Road area, and down here a lot of the industrial businesses right here along Rangeline getting pummeled with some heavy rain starting to fill back in, and that is where we're seeing that. So definitely some very, very heavy rainfall going on there. Active weather, without a doubt. That's an understatement here on Fox 10 News. We've been tracking it throughout the day here with team coverage on Fox 10. This has been an ongoing weather situation that's been developing and been occurring in our area really for about the past week or so. Seeing some very heavy rain. This is our second flood event. Our first was our flash flood emergency for Pensacola. That happened at night, in the middle of the night, and this one is in the middle of the afternoon. A lot more people out there driving around. We urge you to stay off the roadways in South Mobile County and in South Baldwin County today until the rain lightens up and the roadways are clear. That may not happen until much later. This is still an ongoing and developing severe weather setup, and you can see a new flash flood warning has been issued for this band here in Mobile County. So it looks like that the National Weather Service is picking up on that and back towards the Dawes area and Theodore for that heavy rain that's starting to pick back up in this location. Down up towards Midtown Mobile on up and further north, it's just more scattered showers and thunderstorms. It's not as bad out towards South Alabama, Spring Hill, as what our neighbors are seeing in the southern part of the county. Very heavy rainfall as a result of an upper level low feature and a stalled frontal zone. So we're going to continue to see that as a threat for us here on Fox 10 News this afternoon. Heavy rain down in the southern part of the county, heavy rain down in the southern part of Baldwin County for us too, and then over into Jackson County, Mississippi. As this has been back building, we've been seeing the rainfall actually picking up back towards the west with the band showing up. Reflectivity is very, very high. We've seen some rotation areas with this. We've had a number of tornado warnings, slow moving tornadoes. Right now, no active tornadoes in our area, but that's going to continue. The possibility of some rotation areas that we're going to have to watch out for as we go through the afternoon. And you can see we've got our crews out there in full force. We've seen major problems on the traffic tracker today. We've had a lot of reports of issues on the roads, and so it's going to be a really tough commute home today here around 5 p.m. I want to send it over to meteorologist Matt Barentine for more on what he's seeing there. We're tracking both on air and on our Fox 10 app this afternoon.
Okay, a major issue out on the Bayway. There's been a wreck there on the eastbound side. This is where the traffic is getting on from the causeway. So the causeway is running underneath there. This is the Bayway, and you can see the absolute basically just stop traffic as it goes on back. You can also see how the wind is really rattling that camera here right now. So that is eastbound on the Bayway. Major issue, obviously, with that wreck as well. So we got a whole bunch of issues out there. Here's the once again the heavy rain that we've got going on right now. Once again, backfilling, as we've been saying, back in from Mississippi. So we're going to continue to see more of these storms working their way right through Pascagoula now and through southern Mobile County. Also, we got some other storms here getting closer actually to the station now in McGowan Park and in Tillman's Corner. It hasn't been as active on the northern side of things, but you are getting some scattered showers in and around Grove Hill. Jackson, you're just not seeing the issues that we are down to the south of this very heavy storm. Probably so the heaviest rain falling right now is going to be in and around Dauphin Island in the Fort Morgan Peninsula here, also down around Bayou La Battery and Pascagoula. We've also, we've got there's been significant damage in and around Moss Point from an earlier was likely a tornado that we were tracking as it went through. Brendan is on his way to go check that out, so we're going to get some information from Brendan when he gets there over in Moss Point. Also, we've got our own Joe Emer. He's coming back from a trip, and he's actually at a Cracker Barrel there in Moss Point, and he's huddled down waiting this storm out. So that's about the best thing you can do if you're on the highway, just to get off the highway and let this thing fizzle on out. as this is treacherous travel that we are seeing right now across the entire area, particularly along I-10. We just saw the Bayway. There's been a wreck there on the eastbound side. It's slow, almost at a dead stop. The westbound side, no wreck there, but it's almost at a dead stop as well on the Bayway. So the Bayway is pretty much a no-go here at this point. You can see on the other side of the screen over there, you can see some of the different camera shots we have. Top one is Mobile County near Theodore. The middle one, that's Brendan Kirby, and he's on his way to Moss Point to where the damages occurred due to what was likely a tornado earlier. And then the bottom one down there, that is Baldwin County near Highway 98 in the Barnwell community, where there's been water over the road there for quite some time. They've been dealing with that. So we've got all kinds of reports out there right now. Cameras getting all the information in. Kind of the main thing to keep in mind at this point is if you don't have to be on the roads, don't be. And particularly on I-10 the Bayway, on I-10 anywhere through Mobile County, anywhere south of I-10, all of it's a no-go right now pretty much. We got water all over the place, very bad road conditions, and we're still getting blinding rain in spots, particularly in the southwestern part of the county where this heaviest rain is still falling. It does look like it's trying to inch a little farther to the south. Let's try to not hold our breaths here, but keep our fingers crossed that it'll continue to kind of edge out to the south and get offshore. That's really our only hope right now, because that storm's not going anywhere. We just got to get it a little farther to the south and impacting less people. That would be helpful. So we're keeping an eye on all this for you as it continues to track through the area. Once again, I'm on our Fox 10 app, our weather app. All you have to do is go to the Apple Store, the Google Play Store, and download it. It's free. And you can follow right along. Because one thing I mentioned earlier, we really focus obviously on the places where the weather is the worst. We've been focusing a lot here on southwestern Mobile County for the last little bit, and over here towards Jackson County where we've been having tornado warnings. But you may just be up here in, McIntosh or Mount Vernon, and you're getting a scattered shower. You might just want to see what's going on in your area. Well, you can do that. You pick up our app. You can zoom in. You can go around. All right, here's another shot here from Pascagoula. Once again, this has been Highway 90, Highway 90 at Market Street. So that's right in the heart of Pascagoula right there, and that is flooded out. So this is like downtown Pascagoula. This is the heart of town, and that's Market Street at US 90, and cars are at a stop. I mean, someone can't get through the intersection there. So we are seeing full-on flooding there. Once again, that is Pascagoula. You may have somebody that works over there at Chevron or at one of the other refineries or down at the shipyard there. You may need to let them know, hey, you can't go through here. It's just looking pretty bad on Highway 90. They may have to take another route home. So, and there's probably not a good one. You have to go all the way up to I-10 through Gaucher to get around this spot. You can see traffic is trying to move through there, but boy, they're having to inch along to get through there on Highway 90 at Market Street in Pascagoula, downtown Pascagoula. That is an MDOT camera where we're seeing some of the terrible rain. Now, we have there are reports of significant damage in Moss Point from an earlier tornado. Brendan Kirby's on his way to that spot, so we're going to be bringing you reports on that very, very soon. Once again, look at that. Wow, that water is super deep. Not the best idea to take your car through there. That can do real damage to your car. You might get through it okay, but that can do some real damage to your car, especially if your car starts sucking in some of that water. You do not want to do that. So that is on Highway 90 over in Jackson County in Pascagoula. Major flooding, and the rain is continuing there very, very heavily. So that's going to get worse. That is going to get worse and not going to get better anytime soon. So they're going to see worsening flooding. And I'm thinking, looking at what we're seeing on the radar right now, Jackson County over here in Mississippi is getting the worst of it at this point because they're getting almost full on with that storm at the moment. And in Mobile County, it's just moved a little to the south, so it's more over Dauphin Island right now in Mobile County. Look at that. Boy, those cars are having a really hard time at this point getting through that intersection. So this is an illustration of really one of those things you do not want to do, because that is going to be really rough on the vehicles here to take them through that water. So we are monitoring this over in Pascagoula. We've got on the radar heavy rain across that area and across southern Mobile County. In and around the rest of Mobile County, it's a little bit more scattered. And if you go north of I-10, it's definitely more scattered, but this is where the heaviest rain is falling. Once again, this is ongoing coverage, folks, of a flood event here along the Gulf Coast. When these events happen, it takes time, and it's kind of like the proverbial snowball rolling downhill, and it's been getting worse and worse as the afternoon has gone along. We started out around noontime when we had a tornado warning over the bay going into the southern part of Baldwin County, and then it's evolved over time where you have this storm that instead of moving just keeps building back in the same place over and over and over again. And that's what we call training. It's like a train rolling down tracks. And we're seeing these excessive rainfall amounts over and over again. And some of the rainfall totals we'll show you in a minute, but we've seen rainfall totals Doppler estimated over 10 inches in parts of southern Mobile County, in and around Bellingrath, in and around Fowl River, Grand Bay, Theodore. We have multiple road closures right now. So there's a whole list of roads that are closed south of I-10 in Mobile County. Some of the big ones that I'll give you are Highway 90 at McDonald. You think if you get off I-10 at exit 10, that's McDonald Road, go just to the south there, Highway 90, that is closed there at McDonald Road. We also have down on Rangeline Road at Laurendine, another closure there. So multiple closures at major intersections in southern Mobile County because of that flooding that we are seeing. You see on the left side here of your screen the different camera shots as we're going around collecting all the different information for you. One is Mobile County near Theodore, so some of that flooding there near Theodore. Also, we're Brendan Kirby is working his way over towards Moss Point to try to find the damage from what was likely a tornado earlier. And seeing some pictures and videos sent in from that, and there are multiple homes with their roofs ripped off, and a church that looks like it was heavily damaged there. So far, no reports of injuries, but this is early coming in. And then down the very bottom there, Ariel Mallory is down in Baldwin County in the Barnwell community, where they've seen massive road flooding there as well, particularly along Highway 98. So that's where she is. So we're keeping you up to date in all these different areas. Once again, you download our app and you can follow along, get alerts, and track the storms as well. I see Jennifer's pulling up the traffic tracker. I think she's trying to keep an eye on what's going on out there on the Bayway. I think I'll go ahead and send it on over to you, Jennifer, about what's happening out there on the traffic tracker.
Yeah, so we're tracking a lot out there at this time. Again, at this point, there's just too many road closures to truly even list. I'll try and do some of them, but in Robertsdale, Baldwin County, County Road 12 and River Road North is completely impassable, and Foley Road closure at County Road 12 and James Road West to Highway 59, and then also County Road 49, Magnolia Springs Highway, between Laurent Road and County Road 12 is completely impassable. Keeping a close eye also on Twitter for mobile traffic, working hard to keep you guys updated. Water over the roadway at Bellingrath Road just north of Fowl River Road. Also water over the roadway at Ramsey Road just south of Nelson Road. US 90 between Airport Road and Dodge Road, water over the roadway. Half Mile Road at Ranch Road, Murray Hill Road just north of US 90. Again, there's a lot to go over here. Old Pascagoula Road just west of Serenity Gardens. That road is completely closed at this time. Also receiving reports of water that's entering into Wallace tunnels and Bankhead tunnels. We've said it before, I'll only say it again, this rain is continuing here across the Gulf Coast. Please, please, please stay off the roadways if you do not have to be out there at this time, just because we're only continuing to see this rise. Rains to the north, those are also pushing down further towards the south, so this will only continue here across the Gulf Coast, even expecting more of those conditions to deteriorate, because at this point the rain keeps coming but the water has nowhere to go. Also receiving reports of the Irvington Theodore area, some of that water entering into some homes closer towards there. I'm running through our Burst app, which is something that if you guys submit some of those photos, those videos online, I'm running through some of those. I did just receive some damage reports of Magnolia Springs from Joey, so I'm going to have those on my Facebook page here soon. A lot to report here. Again, lots of areas that are currently closed off with some of those roadways the best idea is just to stay off the roads if you guys don't have to head out anytime soon. Also, I've received some reports of some folks having to do water rescues. Check on your neighbors. Check to see their homes if they're more low lying. If you guys live near some bodies of water, I saw one person had messaged us. She said that in the 5 years that they've lived there, they've never seen anything like this, but they had to go and rescue their elderly neighbors from their home that was flooding at that point. So please just check on your friends, check on your family, check on everyone, especially in Southern and Mobile counties, as we continue to keep you updated. But for our traffic tracking map, beginning to see a lot of that congestion just along the Grand Bay area there and I-10. A lot of roads completely impassable, but I'm going to work to keep you guys updated right here on Fox 10. Jason.
Thanks, Jennifer. Here, as we look at it on reflectivity, I want to show you where the rain is and where it's coming down the heaviest right now. We've got downpours throughout the area, and looking at rain working down and along Interstate 10 and along 193, down along 188. We've got heavy rainfall over on the Jackson County side, so tons of heavy rainfall going on in the area right now. In Mobile County, you can see up in the upper portion of your screen, that's that rain picking back up around the Theodore area and down towards Jackson County. We're switching back off our traffic tracker now and looking at it, and there's still some very intense convective bands here in Mobile County that are stretching over to Baldwin County. So that's going to be from around Irvington and St. Elmo down across Hollinger's Island and south of Dog River and around the Theodore Canal all the way back towards Weeks Bay. This is where we don't need the water. We've already seen tremendous rainfall here. It's a complete deluge out over Dolphin Island and also down here in southern Jackson County, and there's more convection firing upstream out here in the Dawes area. So right now we are tracking what's happening here live on radar. We've been with you throughout the afternoon. We're in a flash flood emergency, so we want to get all this information out to you as far as road closures. We also are bringing you breaking weather news with the flash flood warnings. We've seen tornado warnings issued, damage over towards Moss Point, so it's been very, very active, and we're seeing it here in the southern part of the county along Highway 59. We're also about to start Fox 10 News at 4 p.m. This is actually before we go into Fox 10 News at 4 p.m. with Lenise and Shelby. I want to show you this is live right now. We're in Moss Point, Mississippi with first responders on the scene here, and this is going to be in Moss Point, and you can see ambulances as well as fire trucks right there. Heavy flooding going on, and this is a location very close to where we had some reports of a tornado, and this is terrible when you have a tornado coming through. We've seen pictures of roof damage. You can see a tree down, some limbs over on the right-hand corner of your screen, and then you're getting these heavy downpours coming in. So we're just bringing this to you now. Breaking news here as we are entering Moss Point, Mississippi, and driving along some of the secondary roads where we had the report of a tornado in Moss Point. Our storm tracker panning over, occasionally seeing some limbs down in the yards. Looks like a major split in a live oak tree on the right-hand side of your screen. There are power lines down that they just drove underneath there in Moss Point. You can see some of the power lines and some of the cable wires back down across and laying down towards that FedEx truck there. Here comes the fire truck coming down the road, and all assessing the damage here with debris everywhere. We are looking at major debris down here. This is most likely where the tornado occurred in Moss Point. It has not been confirmed by the National Weather Service as a confirmed tornado, but we did have visual confirmation of this tornado, and it matches up very well with what we saw with the velocity product and the reflectivity on radar. You can see damage to that outbuilding here. This is the Moss Point. It looks like the Moss Point Tigers athletic facility here, and you can see roofing materials as well as the situation there in Moss Point. So we're going to go ahead and start Fox 10 News at 4 p.m. and we're going to continue our severe weather coverage here over the next several hours here on Fox 10 News through the 6 o'clock hour.
All right. Thanks, Jason, Jen, and Matt. Really just doing a fantastic job keeping everyone up to date with all the mess that's going on out there. Welcome in on this soggy Monday. I'm Lenise Lagan.
And I'm Shelby Myers. We want to thank you for staying with Fox 10 News. Of course, this weather has been crazy all day long. As Lenise said, our storm tracker team has been tracking this, keeping a close eye. Lots of intense video coming in right now.
Yeah, we've been seeing that video stretching from Baldwin, Mobile, all the way over to into parts of Mississippi too. It is just not letting up. A very slow moving system, as Jason was just talking about right there. We want to continue now with that weather coverage and see if we can get an update now from our meteorologist Matt Barentine, who's been standing by and monitoring the situation as well. I mean, Matt, as we were just talking about, we are still under the gun here.
Yeah, we most certainly are here, and you can see we got all the different shots up. Sorry, we're having to kind of reload up all our graphics here as we move into the 4 o'clock hour, and I'm bringing up the radar, and boy, it is once again just lit up like a Christmas tree. Heavy rain that we're dealing with in the southern part of Mobile County, southern part of Baldwin County, and also into the Pascagoula area back over here to the west. So heavy rain. This has been ongoing for a number of hours. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and pull up what we've had as far as these rainfall totals. They are quite impressive here, to say the least. We've seen massive amounts of rain, upwards of 10 inches in a few spots, particularly here around Fowl River and other areas here along the eastern shore. Look at that. Rainfall accumulation is 10.8 inches. I mean, that's incredible. And I put on 12 hours just to make sure I captured everything, but this is really over about 4 to 6 hours, about 4 hours or so, because we've been going on since about noon, and that's about when all this started. So this has been quite the rain event, and it hasn't ended yet. And that's the other issue here, is that we're going to continue to see these heavy showers and thunderstorms here for a little bit yet. And it's still backfilling here, what we call backfilling to the west. And we'll continue to see that happen over the next couple of hours. My only real hope here is that it does seem to be ever so slightly trying to work its way out into the Gulf. It's been a slow process, but it is starting to work its way a little farther to the south, and more of this storm is now offshore than onshore. So my hope is that we can eventually just kick it offshore and the rain will eventually stop here. But for now, it's obviously raining very heavily. I've got Chief Meteorologist Jason Smith in here with me as well. He's been tracking this all afternoon long. Jason, what are your concerns here at the moment as we continue to watch this event unfold as we go through the afternoon?
Well, several things. Number one is that even though the rainfall rates have improved slightly in parts of Mobile County and parts of Baldwin County that were hard hit, a lot of this water is still getting into the drainage of some of the creeks and just starting to get into the areas where it's actually backfilling over the roadways. One of the things that Matt mentioned within about the last 10 minutes here in our coverage, some of the roadways that we're talking about that are flooded out, these are not just little back roads. I mean, we're looking at major roads that are impacted. Highway 98 in Baldwin County, Laurentine Road, Highway 90 in Mobile County, Bellingrath Road. These are major thoroughfares, and it's just a little after 4 o'clock. A lot of people are at the point where their work day is done. They're trying to get home, but it's just not safe for travel. We have multiple road closures in both Mobile County and in Baldwin County. You can see right there, it looks like water across Rangeline Road. We've had reports of water coming across the roadways here at Laurentine Road, and it looks like we've got a closure to Laurentine Road at Degussa. So road closed. Highway 193, a major thoroughfare. This is the road to Dolphin Island from Mobile, from I-10, and we got a closure there. Laurentine Road is closed at Degussa, so that's going to be on the south side of the Theodore Industrial Canal. Another closure here, Highway 90 from County Road 19 and Irvington by La Battery Highway all the way to Murray Hill Road. So that's going to be over here. And it looks like right there where McDonald Road comes off onto, this is going to be near Palmer's Quick Stop. It's right there where 193 goes down to Highway 90, and we've got a closure there. And look at the water. This is Highway 90 and Carroll Plantation Road right now. I mean, there's cars that were trying to fuel up and they're not going anywhere, although I don't think that car was trying to fuel up because that looks like a Tesla. All right. But as we are looking at the situation there, we are looking at flooding out and about on Highway 90 at Carroll Plantation Road. So some folks, it look like they pulled over at a gas station and just stopped driving, which is a wise idea. You don't want to be pushing the envelope and trying to go further when you can just pull over, find a little higher ground, and wait for the floodwaters to hopefully subside. We're still looking at heavy rainfall here, but it is coming down with a lighter rainfall rate right now. And our storm tracker truck is out. We've got a little bit more clearance than a lot of these vehicles here with our storm trackers. And you can see pulling out of the parking lot of that gas station and getting back over towards Highway 90 at Carroll Plantation, real close to Interstate 10. We are looking at just terrible traffic. It's a log jam out there. So, a lot of people trying to get where they want to go. Look at the water coming across the road. It's actually running across the road here at this particular spot, very close to at Carroll Plantation Road, very close to the China Chef right there. Heavy rain there. We've got damage in Moss Point from a tornado. We had a confirmed tornado also with a debris signature in Baldwin County earlier. We have road closures in South Baldwin County, South Mobile County, and now looking at more pictures. It's total team coverage here on Fox 10 News today. We've got meteorologist Matt Barentine in studio, meteorologist Jennifer Lambert's in studio. I came in studio around 12 o'clock and joined coverage ongoing at that point. Meteorologist Michael White was covering this earlier, and then meteorologist Nicholas Herboso is actually manning the social media feeds right now on our Fox 10 Facebook page. And then we've got our news crews. We've got our storm tracker trucks out here in Moss Point and in these other locations that were hard hit to bring you the pictures. And we have a number of crews out there with our live view technology. We're streaming the video back. And then of course we've got our anchors here, Shelby and Lenise, and Byron will be joining us here in a little bit so that we can give you a comprehensive view of what's going on and just how big this weather event is and how it's impacting our entire area. Baldwin County, Mobile County, Jackson County, and Moss Point hit by a tornado. You can see that speed limit side is crooked there, and off in the distance you can see the fire truck and the police vehicle, and they're most likely not letting people go any further. And I can see the trees leaning back there, pine trees, live oak trees at odd angles. You know that obviously there was a terrific and terrible wind event that occurred in this particular area here in Moss Point. So this is the scene of what's most likely tornado damage. It is not confirmed by the National Weather Service yet, but we saw the debris signature on our storm tracker as this was moving around 613 and also Highway 63 in Moss Point and East Moss Point. And this is the First Baptist Church there in Moss Point that is impacted, and it looks like the picture's getting a little clearer there, and you can see how the trees are strewn a bit, and then you can see what looks like some damage down at street level also, and some debris. And we're off at a distance right now. We've seen some of the pictures of roofs being lifted off of houses and that kind of thing in the Moss Point area from some of the stuff that's come into us. And of course, there are a lot of power lines down as well, and that is an extreme hazard there. We are looking at a number of different things. Of course, there is a tropical storm that has formed up in the central Atlantic. This is not a threat to our area at this time. We'll have an update on this on Fox 10 News as the local severe weather situation begins to subside. But I want to let you know we've got storm number 2, Tropical Storm Brett, out there on our tropics tracker right now too. The heaviest of the rain is usually located where we see the most intense lightning, and from Pascagoula down to Petty Boy Island, it looks like a lot of this is actually focused more out over Mississippi Sound and Dauphin Island. What Matt was looking at earlier when he was showing us the future radar, our Fox 10 app, we were optimistic that a lot of this heavy convection was actually going to work out off into the Gulf, and ultimately this will stop. It's not going to continue forever, but we still have an ongoing flooding threat, and we're still getting some back building of what is a little bit more of a scattered nature to these heavy thunderstorms in West Mobile, and down towards Pascagoula is still pretty much a heavy wall of rain. Baldwin County right now is looking better, so we're actually seeing lighter rain showing up on reflectivity, and so it looks like the worst of it has happened as far as the rain. Now, with a flash flooding situation, you can still see the water come up after the rain as it gets into the rivers and streams, but it is looking a little better temporarily in Baldwin County, and there is more of a scattered nature to it here over Mobile County, so we're starting to see some improvements there. And then you've got Pascagoula and Moss Point, which was hit by a tornado or a possible tornado earlier, and you're getting that heavy rainfall still continuing there. Dolphin Island getting rocked by heavy rain. Looks like it's getting lighter out over Fort Morgan Road. So this is starting to change and shift, and it's interesting, Matt, how this whole thing has been really back building westward throughout the day. And what we'd like to see is it just continue to build west and fizzle out and get out over the Gulf and get out of our hair so we can let this floodwater recede a little bit.
Yeah, and this has been just a constant thing the last several days where we've seen numerous strong to severe storms, and that's how this thing started today, and it turned into a flooding event as it just sort of parked itself on top of southern Baldwin and southern Mobile counties throughout the afternoon. So we've been dealing with that all day. Unfortunately, we're probably going to be dealing with some more strong to severe storms tomorrow. We are back into a level 2 zone for parts of our area tomorrow, not everywhere. You notice it's more down once again southern Mobile County, kind of the southern end of things. The rest of our area is either level 1 or no levels here tomorrow. So hopefully it won't be as active as today, but the chances are out there that we're going to continue to see some more heavy rain. In fact, I'll go ahead and do the futurecast here. Let's get this in motion, show you what we're probably looking at here. Once again, with the futurecast going into this evening, showing those storms offshore, but still some scattered ones in and about the area around 8 o'clock here tonight, but then fizzling out overnight. So pretty quiet overnight. Tomorrow morning, hopeful here. I've been watching the models throughout the day, showing tomorrow morning being pretty quiet. Let us dry out a bit, get us some sun there in that first half of the day. And then it shows in the afternoon the storms building once again kind of off to the south and west, but not across the entire area tomorrow. So that would be good news. It's fingers crossed that it works out like that we don't see storms everywhere. Maybe more of a coastal Mississippi thing here tomorrow than into our area. That looks to be the case. You can see that there at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Some showers scattered about across the rest of our area, but for the most part, the heavy rain is over in coastal Mississippi. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that as well, seeing how all that evolves. We're going to have more information here. Obviously, you see all those different camera shots we got there on the right side of your screen. Moss Point in particularly, we're concerned about because they looks like they had a tornado there, and there is significant damage. Our Brendan Kirby's on the ground right now talking to folks, getting that information. So we'll have some more information on that upcoming as well. For now, though, I think I need to send it over to Lanice and Shelby as they get us going here on the 4 o'clock hour.
All right. And again, thanks, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, we've had viewer video coming in all day today from many of you who are out there in these elements.
Yeah, and that really is helpful for us to give a better picture of what we're seeing going on out there. So thank you for doing so. I want to take a look now at some video from Jody Bruns. This is also from the Weeks Bay area. That was earlier this morning, video that she sent in to our newsroom. And you can see just all the wind there, Shelby.
Absolutely. Look at that palm tree just blowing like it's nothing. The rain sideways there, just very, very intense. This was earlier today, and that's kind of the heaviness when it started. Now we're dealing with the after effect from all the flooding.
And not just that area too. I mean, Mobile County getting hit pretty hard today as well. We've been talking about the situation there, and look at that dark cloud there, Shelby.
Yes, so residents of Bayou La Battery say the flooding's been a huge problem. You can see almost like twisters trying to form there.
That's okay. Let me cut in because that's not Bayou La Battery. That is over there off of the eastern shore. That is over around County Road 1. This was the tornado that was offshore that was kind of spinning around. It was very strange for about 30-35 minutes there before it made its way onshore in and around Magnolia Springs over there on the south, I guess near Weeks Bay is about the best way to put it. So that is a tornado that is over the water, and that is some really dramatic video because it really wasn't moving. It was just kind of dancing around out there just offshore in the bay.
Well, let's go ahead now and get to that video from Mobile County because, as we said, this has been a system that has stretches all across our viewing area. And before I do that, I do want to remind you that if there is video that you can get to us safely, you can do that right from your phone. You open up the Fox and News app and you look under the menu section, and there is a way that you can go ahead right there and it says send us photos and videos. You click on that, you can upload the pictures and videos right from your phone, and then we can share it here with the rest of our viewers too.
Yeah. It is the easiest way to do so if you do have video out there. But right now, we want to see if we can check in with Brendan, who's in Moss Point, who's on the ground there where an unconfirmed possible tornado just swept through. Brendan, can you hear us?
Yes, I can, Shelby, and I'm here at the Sonic station, the Sonic restaurant on Main Street in Moss Point. 3 employees who are here, and I just take all of you. What's your name, man?
I'm LaKenya. I'm the general manager of the store.
Okay, so just describe what happened here.
Okay, the power had went out, so I had told my workers to take them a break and go outside and just chill for a minute. And when me and Markia, this is my assistant manager, and this is L'Oreal, she's my cook. She was outside, me and Markia was inside. And Markia said, look at the wind. And we was looking, and I was like, everybody need to get inside, everybody need to get inside. And before we could even move, like everything just started rumbling. We looked up, the roof was flying over there, trees was going everywhere. I had workers outside. Markia, I'm trying to get her to the back to safety away from windows, and her sister was outside, and that's all she could think about was her sister. So we running, going crazy, trying to get outside to my workers, and all of a sudden here they all come. One of my workers, Shania, she's a car hop here. The wind actually threw her into a pole.
Wow. So, and were there customers in here?
They were still pulling in. We were telling them that we couldn't take orders because of the power. They were still pulling in.
And my sister was holding on to the pole with her dear life.
Yes.
So your sister got to get thrown into the pole?
Yeah, she had to hold on to the pole.
Scared to get out the car, just shake. They running out trying to get us, and I'm just like, oh Jesus, I don't know what to do. I was scared to get out the car.
And was anybody hurt?
No, nobody was damaged badly, but she did get thrown to that pole. She's a little bitty thing, so she bruised up a little bit, but she's okay though.
Pretty scary time.
Yeah, very scary.
And now, what about the bank? We understand there were people trapped in the bank. Have you heard anything about that?
I haven't heard anything about them being trapped in there, but I know the roof flew off. The roof flew off, and I mean stuff was going everywhere. You see, we got trash cans and everything was falling down. I mean, we were just watching it through the window, panicking because I had them outside.
And pretty significant damage to the restaurant?
Yes, very bad. Like, I'm going to have to shut down for a few days probably. But yeah, I got my boss is on the way now because my cooler's out, so I'm probably going to lose all my product, and we're just here. We don't want to move. I'm scared to let them go home because of all this on the road, so I have to keep them here. Y'all come, Shania, come here.
I don't like cameras.
Oh, she don't like cameras. This is April. She was in her car also. She's one of my car hops. Tell them what you say when you was out here, April.
It was horrible. Like, I was in my car, and then the wind was just blowing really bad, and then my window just came in while I was in there, and I was just trying to get back inside with them. I was scared.
Yeah, she was on this side by herself. Everybody else was on that other side. She was over here by herself. But we seen her though. She was coming around trying to get in the door, and we was trying to get everybody in. Once I got them in, we took them to the back, and we just waited until it was all over.
Well, thank you so much, and of course we're going to continue to cover this and see if we can talk to more people here, but we're going to send it back to you, Shelby and Lanice. But from Moss Point, a lot of people, they're shaken up.
Yeah, all right, Brendan, and naturally so. I mean, just looking at the sign mangled in the trees there as she was describing what happened to her. Just in checking on the power outages too, Mississippi seeing a lot right now. Jackson County specifically with the most at close to 6,000 people without electricity. So they'll have to deal with that too as they start to clean up.
Yeah, just a wild situation there. Of course, those women just still shaken up visibly. You could see and hear when they were talking about their experience. We're going to continue following this. Again, Brendan is on the ground. That is a confirmed tornado in Moss Point. We're going to be checking in with him after the break.
It won't be, I don't know, 5:30. He said just sometime at 5:30.
Hey, Ariel. Give me a mic check, Ariel. Mic check, Ariel.
Mic check, test, test, test. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Mic check, test, test, test. Mic check.